Then he stepped over here. He was actually standing right here. Then they kept working with the rope here. And later he was standing even farther back here. I'm someone who will chat a little if I have time. I told him to be careful, not to step too far back. I asked if everything was okay. We spoke English.
Thank God it's Friday. Good morning, Zambia, and welcome to the Sunrise Breakfast Show right here on PTV2 Zambia. And of course, the nation's most trusted morning conversations broadcasting live on Prime TV2. We are so grateful that you could join us on a beautiful Friday like this one. Just the feeling of knowing that you have been watching and enjoying Prime TV2 makes us really, really happy.
My name is Kapili Dominic, and of course for the next 2 hours we will be not just
It's Friday. Good morning, Zambia, and welcome to the Prime PTV2 Sunrise Breakfast Show, and of course it is an amazing Friday. This is the nation's most trusted morning conversation, broadcasting live on Facebook, of course, and on Topstar channel 110. Do not forget that you can also catch us on our YouTube channel and on PTV2Zambia.com. My name is Rhoda.
And my name is Kapili Dominic, and for the next 2 hours, we will not just be telling you what happened, but we'll be asking the questions of why it happened. And of course, we're also going to have the tough conversations, the uncomfortable conversations, because they're the conversations that actually enlighten you and keep us informed as a nation. And of course, we are the home of breaking news. And today, it's the eve of Valentine's, a day of love, and also a day of responsibility. Rhoda?
Absolutely, Dominic. It's not just Valentine's Eve today, it is also World Radio Day, celebrating a platform that still reaches the furthest and speaks to the voiceless. And of course, it's a jam-packed day, like celebrating all those things in one day, especially that it's a Friday.
Oh yeah, and guess what? It's also World International Condom Day, chosen deliberately on the eve of Valentine. I'm like, who does this? But anyway, the society is still uncomfortable in having honest conversations, and this is what we love to have here on Prime Television Zambia too, because we talk about love, we talk about sex, and of course we go on and talk about responsibility.
So just maybe an enlightenment when it comes to this particular day. It is International Condom Day. It's time to actually re-engage, to also re-educate about condoms, because it's not just a barrier but also a cost-effective tool for safer, healthier and more confident sexual experiences. So we do join the World Health Organization and communities and other partners worldwide in celebrating International Condom Day, which falls on the 13th of February. Of course, we do know that condoms still remain a trusted and highly effective option for triple protection, preventing HIV, sexually transmitted infections, and unplanned pregnancies as well. So let's also remember that condoms are one of the many great prevention choices available for ensuring safety, positivity, and well-being in sexual health. And of course, together we can continue to empower informed decisions and access to essential tools.
I know a country that wants unplanned children.
Really?
Yes, the country now, China. China is now actively encouraging couples to have more children to address its declining population and the need for workforce. So what they have done is there's free childbirth. So China aims to cover all out-pocket costs for related childbirth issues, and this was signed in 2026, January, of course. Then there's actually taxes now on contraceptives in China.
Wow.
Yes, so there's a 13% taxes on contraceptives, then child health care support. So the government is providing child health care subsidies, extended maternity leave, and tax breaks to support families. And maternal insurance, is there very valuable for women that are actually pregnant. So from a perspective of China, I think World Condoms Days, they are celebrating it quite differently, or they're looking at it from a different perspective, because for them, not looking at the part of sexually transmitted diseases, but just on the part of childbirth. For them, I think World Condoms Day is not a thing for them.
Yeah, we're not going to go into the depth of it, but obviously they still some myths and misconceptions still surrounding condom use out there in society, and one of them being that women are still judged when they walk into a facility or a store to purchase condoms. They are still judged. There's still that gap that needs to be filled. And also, people just have these misconceptions, like one of them being reduced pleasure. Most of people out there still think that modern condoms, often made of thin materials, are designed to interfere with sensation. But anyway, that's a topic for another day. Yeah. But anyways, we still need to tackle some of these myths and misconceptions as we go on. Obviously, this is a day to reflect on some of those things that are still affecting society today and still hindering men and women in terms of their sexual reproductive health.
And one very important fact and one important thing we should look at is, let us not look down on women that move around with condoms. There are women that move with condoms.
Exactly.
And there's some stigma around that because they'll be looked at in a different way.
Yeah.
But actually that's for protection.
Like you're promiscuous.
Yes. That's just for protection. I think we should talk about these things and we should encourage people to actually protect themselves and protect others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And this is your show. Do join in the conversation, of course, on 0972-036306. That is 0972-036306. Or obviously you can comment on our Facebook page in the comment section on our live feed. Dominic, as we begin, what is weighing heavily on your mind this morning?
So early this morning when I woke up, I could not see through my window. That was like at 6. I wanted to get back to sleep, but then I looked at my watch and looked at the time and said, okay, I need to get to the office. I need to go and work. So the weather outside is actually, I don't know what's going on, but of course maybe
there's a lot of mist, fog.
A lot of mist, fog. Maybe Ganizani Abuela.
Making it hard, I think, for most people on the road. I think the situation is quite, maybe the weather has changed right now, but in the early hours it was all fog around, and I hope that people are actually safe on the road, because this is I think it's gonna be worse when it comes to the weather in terms of the rains from what we are seeing outside. But the meteorology department did warn that there's going to be a lot of rains, especially from like yesterday up to the 15th. So people in flood-prone areas should really just be mindful.
Yeah, and we should also extend a caution to RATSA that, even the RDA, that our roads should be friendly to such things. They should be proper. These people who are in charge of actually constructing our roads should actually be equipped properly, so that the roads, before they are certified done, they should have certain things like reflectors and some lights and so that at least drivers can actually be safe, because this can cause an accident or something, and drivers should also be alert and not rush into just getting to where they're going to get to. It's better you get there late than never.
Yeah.
Because of the weather. Yeah. The overview of the program. Now, today the show will be looking at a number of interesting things. Of course, we're looking at the cyclone, of course, approaching Zambia, floods already displacing families. We are prepared, or are we just prepared for the best? Therefore, we'll be talking to one of our reporters, Joan, who actually talk to us, and we give some checks and balances to see the flooding situation that was happening in some parts of Lusaka yesterday. And then going forward, the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, begins delimitation. Is this about representation, or is this redistribution of power? A very interesting question that you also need to answer. We need your input, and we also need you to give us your comment. We will also be joined by our Copperbelt reporter, Derrick, who will give us an update on the engagement of the ECZ which was held in Ndola on the delimitation exercise. Since it's World Radio Day, today we'll host prominent PMC, who is a prominent enthusiast in the music industry, music business, and supporting local. We'll be coming to talk and share about what's going on and what's happening in the media, particularly in the radio. Of course, we'll be having him from Joy FM And we're going to be discussing more on how will the radio survive. Is it surviving in the era of AI? Plus, we'll be having sports, entertainment, and seeing what's going on in the world of entertainment.
All right. Now, obviously, to our viewers, you do also stay informed, and anytime on our website, that is on TV2.ptvzambia.com. You can also stay informed by using our website and also our Facebook page on our live feed. And of course, let's begin with the weather update across the country. For those of you that have not yet stepped outside, you're still wondering how the weather is going to be, what to wear, what to do on this particular day. Let's have a look at our weather today. Thank you so much. Let's move on. It's safe to say that it's going to be a cold day today, so you do yourself a favor by keeping yourself warm by obviously starting with some hot coffee, hot chocolate, and yeah, just keeping yourself warm and safe. Now let's move on and see how the kwacha is performing against
the money markets. So the dollar is buying at 18 kwacha 39 ngwe and selling at 18 kwacha 75 ngwe. The euro is buying at 21 kwacha 84 ngwe and selling at 21 kwacha 94 ngwe. The Great British Pound is buying at 25 kwacha 11 ngwe and selling at 25 kwacha 65 ngwe. The rand is buying at 1 kwacha 16 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha 18 ngwe. Remember, these are the rates, but they change and vary from bank to bank.
Well, it's safe to say that looking at the money markets over there, definitely testing your wallets this morning. Now we do move on and we have a look at some of the stories trending in our news. An 8-month-old baby girl of Misundu area in Ndola on the Copperbelt has died following an alleged domestic violence incident involving her parents. Now the incident is reported to have occurred on the 10th of February 2026 around 02 hours at the family residence, and the deceased infant has been identified as Nandi Zulu, while the suspect is her father, David Zulu. Police spokesperson Godfrey Chilabi says the incident happened during a marital dispute between the suspect and his wife, who is the child's mother. Mr. Chilabi also explains that the suspect allegedly hit the infant on the head with a shovel, causing fatal injuries, and was rushed to Arthur Davison Hospital with the help of neighbors, where she was later pronounced dead.
During the altercation, the suspect allegedly hit the infant on the head with a shovel, causing fatal injuries. With the help of neighbors, the child was rushed to Arthur Davison Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. Police officers responded to the incident and the scene was processed. The body of the deceased has since been deposited at Ndola Teaching Hospital mortuary, awaiting post-mortem examination and burial. The motive behind the incident has not yet been established and remains under investigation. The suspect fled the scene and is currently on the run, with efforts underway to apprehend him. The Zambia Police Service is appealing to members of the public who may have information regarding the suspect's whereabouts to come forward and assist with the investigation.
Sad development over there. Obviously, of late we have been seeing a lot of GBV cases, which always end up on a bad note, and that is just one of the latest news stories that we have currently. Now, Dominic, there is, with the escalating cases of gender-based violence, Are we still looking at the same causes that we were looking at, a few years ago? What is really happening?
The thing is simple. Today, I want to believe that marriage is looked at as an event. That they don't look at the process of being together. They don't look at the process of how it's supposed to be and how it's going to be. They don't look at what might come forward. And these things are the ones that bring certain things in these homes. You marry someone and now there's frustration. You don't know how to handle it. You start to argue, you start to fight. The different reasons why people fight. Maybe it's because there's not much enough, maybe financial support in the house, or maybe someone is looking outside and anticipating that our home could be like that home. So there are quite a number of things that actually resort to such things, but gender-based violence is not right. Because look at what has happened now. Two people are fighting and someone else, dies. That's a very bad thing. Whatever goes on in a relationship, I don't want to believe that violence should always be the only solution. That's not how things should be. People can always talk about things. A human being, if they don't want to listen, they won't listen. But being violent is not the way. What's your take?
Well, I think it's really just sad that we are still talking about gender-based violence cases. Obviously, at the start of the year, I've just noticed that usually it's at the start of the year that some of these cases are always recorded. And I think that when a marriage or a relationship is failing, it's better to walk away than end up in situations like that. We now see that kids are being affected in such situations, and they just lost a child because of their disputes. I think it's about time that people started regulating their emotions. It all starts from there. You do something because you're so emotional, and in a blink of an eye, a child is killed, and you start regretting an action that you made, from that emotional step that you took. So I think people need to start regulating their emotions and know how to manage their anger as well, because it all stems from there. But it's really sad that we're still recording such cases.
An 8-month-old baby, guys, for crying out loud. How do you? This is very sad, and this is very sad. We there's need for awareness around this issue of gender-based violence. There's need for awareness in marriages, how to act and how not to act. I think men should also be taught. I don't know what women are taught before they marry, but I think men should equally be taught, and should be equally serious for men also. And things of violence should be discussed, and things of violence should be brought up, because we can't continue being like this. We can't continue having relationships failing and resorting to fighting and violence. But for those of you that would want to seek help, the Victim Support Unit actually provides counseling to thousands of individuals in Zambia, with many victims being referred to other organizations like YWCA for support. So do not hesitate to contact them for help and support. Oh yeah. Now going forward, another sad development. A 10-year-old grade 3 pupil has died after a wolf fell at a guest house owned by Lusaka Town Council. Collapsed on her during heavy rains in Lusaka district. The deceased, identified as Jen, was rushed to Lusaka District Hospital but pronounced dead upon arrival after suffering severe injuries on the head and a broken leg. More in the following report.
A grade 3 pupil has died after a perimeter fence at Lusaka Town Council guest house collapsed on her in Lusaka district. The incident happened yesterday around 14 hours. The deceased has been identified as Jen Nawale, a 10-year-old grade 3 pupil at a named school within Lusaka district, Mchinga province. According to eyewitnesses, the girl was near the guest house fence when the sudden collapsed, trapping her underneath. She sustained fatal injuries and was later pronounced dead upon arrival at Lusaka District Hospital.
Akuti nchewele umwana wo tuli nawe ukuchewele umwana weyo wazana umwana weyo alipansi papansi nemo nalolanga uniform mtu puje wiza akatuka wiza muvumba naku Kukumiso lwachifansile ize akupukule iweno ibloko papo o. Wazanu kuti mwana weyo ayononesiru mutwe ichinama cho chikontosile pawidi.
Another eyewitness, Mesna Fukwe, says the incident left less than shocked.
Futi apundo mwana funa ishire fuma na isa apundo mnanji mshopu. Efuto ishire yapo kuirulukula mabwe twaisa sanga mwana. Efuto ambilo kupampula mabwe tuwapampula. Efuto ishire imia no mwana twaminika na motoka. Twamnika mbamto na ku hospital.
Other residents have called on authorities to inspect odd and unsafe infrastructure to prevent similar incidences.
Ire mushita yavakaunda tavaposa kwamano kuti again vachichiterenovate cement ira chita expire ita kuti vachikuda vike bwino kumyaka yafumako pale pita mu 2 years chalipa pomaronda wava council wine alifwa chimo chine chikurwa HIP.
Meanwhile, Isoka Town Council Public Relations Officer Peter Sichali says the local authority will take up funeral expenses for the deceased child.
Bereaved family, Isoka Town Council has taken up all the funeral expenses as a gesture of compassion and support to the bereaved family. The safety and well-being of our community remains our priority, and the Council is treating this matter with the utmost seriousness and will implement all necessary corrective measures based on the findings of the investigations.
By broadcasting time, police had not yet issued an official statement regarding the death of the 10-year-old girl. Richard Zimbaya, reporting for PTV News, Isoka, Muchinga Province.
Well, that is a very sad story. Rhoda, what do we have?
Right, so we move on. Now, the Ministry of Health has expressed concern over the increasing number of syphilis cases being recorded in Solwezi district and across the northwestern province. So Provincial Health Director Dr. Lakson Chidikita says the situation is particularly worrying due to the rising number of babies being born with congenital syphilis. He also notes that provincial health data ranks syphilis among the sexually transmitted infections currently on the rise. Jackson Mwansa has the details in the following report.
Health authorities in northwestern province have raised alarm over the rising number of syphilis cases, particularly in Solwezi, Mwinyilunga, Kasempa and Kalumbila districts.
As the end of 2025, our data shows that syphilis is one STI that is increasing. Guest of honor, from 2022, Solwezi had 1,644 cases of syphilis. In 2023, the number increased to 1,985. 2024, 1,707. 2025, 1,739. In contrast to Mwinunga, where in 2025, Mwinunga had a total number of about 2,112. Perhaps Kasenseri gold mine. I don't know.
Provincial Health Director Lakson Chidikita says the increase is concerning, especially more babies being born with congenital syphilis. Health officials are now calling for a stronger, coordinated response from all stakeholders.
Our main concern is also the increase in the number of the babies that are being born with syphilis, what we call congenital syphilis. We are also seeing a rise in these cases, which means the future of the young people, the babies that are supposed to graduate into adults, it's being affected if this scourge is not dealt with.
I must indicate that the concerns raised are valid, very, very valid, and evidence-based. The rising statistics of STIs, persistent HIV risk, and low condom use, especially among young people and mobile workers, requires a systematic and decisive action.
That is why, as AHF, our commitment across Africa is clear. We will continue to work with governments to strengthen public condom programs, expand free access, remove stigma, and ensure that prevention reaches young people, workers, mobile populations, and communities most at risk.
The remarks were made during a health engagement meeting held in Solwezi. Jackson Mwansa reporting for Prime Television News in Solwezi district of Northwestern Province.
Indeed, a very sad development right there. And of course, this is why days like these are very important to advocate for condom use or just, prevention, because there is a lot of cases when it comes to syphilis, and, newborn babies are being affected as well.
I think people should just be clean and serious, because this is being careless, because we cannot just advocate for condoms without telling people to be responsible also on their own. We're not advocating for condoms, not because of anything, but because it's also a plus to also use a condom. But you should also learn to keep yourself clean, take care of yourself. And when you see that you have a certain problem, don't be selfish and don't just take these diseases anywhere just because you feel you need to indulge, you started to indulge. I think people should actually be more responsible.
There's quite some factors or drivers of the increase, and one of them being behavioral shift. If you've noticed that the conversation these days is around young people partaking in PrEP and PEP as well. So now there is a documented association between increased PrEP HIV prevention, which is, and initiation and rising syphilis cases, potentially due to a decrease in condom use among PrEP users. So they feel that when they are taking PrEP, it's not necessary to protect themselves, because what most young people are scared of is HIV.
You just go in live and, it's not right.
It's said that also population mobility, especially high rates often found in towns along major highways, likely due to mobility of truck drivers and minors as well. Would you agree with that? Most especially that particular one is coming from Solwezi.
No, my very good friend is a driver, so I'm not one to comment much. But also the increase in the poverty levels, the high cost of living, and I think it's also one of the things, and also the growth rate today. Because I think of these GMOs, young people are actually developing and maturing at a very fast rate, and so also these are also factors to the high spread of these things.
But also we need to see how far the syphilis free start program has gone, because I think the government did address this, the Ministry of Health did address this when they launched the syphilis free start program. So they did also mention that there will be dual testing, mandatory dual HIV and syphilis testing for all pregnant women during their first antenatal visit. There is also on the spot treatment, administering certain medicines immediately to those who test positive to prevent mother-to-child transmission. Also, increased screening was introduced, the national screening coverage for pregnant women, which reached about 75% in 2024, with a goal to reach 80% plus by 2026. So we need also just maybe to ask the Ministry of Health how far they have gone with this particular response, and if it is working or not, because we're still seeing an increase in the cases of syphilis in a lot of provinces.
Okay, going forward in our headlines for today in our news. A 26-year-old man of Mutenguleni area in Kasanegwa district, Eastern Province, is nursing serious burns after his girlfriend allegedly poured hot water on him following a dispute over a pregnancy. Eastern Province Commanding Officer Robertson Mwemba has identified the suspect as 25-year-old Tendai Nyirenda, while the victim has been named as Spiri. Mr. Mwemba says the incident occurred on Wednesday, 10th of February 2026, after Piri allegedly denied responsibility of Nyirenda's pregnancy. But well, we have the details in this following report.
A 26-year-old man of Kasenonga district in Eastern Province has suffered serious burns on his body after hot water was poured on him by his 25-year-old girlfriend after he allegedly refused being responsible for her pregnancy. Eastern Province Police Commanding Officer Robertson Mwemba confirms the incident, which occurred yesterday, February 10th, 2026.
Our brother was poured with hot water yesterday by the so-called girlfriend by the name of Tendai Nyirenda. We thank God that he was able to sit. So in short, I'm confirming that that incident really happened, and the suspect in this issue, as I've stated already, her name is in our custody.
Mr. Mwemba has however advised couples not to resort in fights when resolving conflicts.
Sort out issues through fight, no. The lady, if at all what we got that the man refused to say he was not responsible for the pregnancy, the lady would have engaged through talking. Issues would have been sorted out. We don't resort to fight physically. That's why there's the so-called round table. This lady would have engaged maybe the relatives to the man.
Piri, who is currently admitted at Chipata Central Hospital, denies having quarreled with his girlfriend.
I know from Sata. We talk about poor news and close somewhere to make them down. Oh, okay. Somebody wanted to some company was. And was a different compound in Zaka. I can't believe but such disappointed he was. And I said that it's better than the negotiator was going to bed. So now they don't come. So I come. Then they will put into the pants. Figure out what do. Mera man son when kidida man demwe chokera banje no musagera honda tebwele hospital.
Authorities at Chipata Central Hospital has given an update on Piri's condition.
We are currently managing for mixed 20% burns on the back and the upper limb, and the condition is currently stable. We expect that with proper significant wound cleaning, also give some proper antibiotics to prevent infection, and hopefully should make a significant recovery.
The suspect is likely to be charged with the offense of assault occasioning actual bodily harm. Christopher Basilio Banda, Prime TV News in Chipata, Eastern Province.
This is also quite very sad, and it goes back to marriage disputes. It comes now to, it starts from relationship disputes, and it goes now into marriage disputes. I think we should learn how to, we should even talk about conflict resolution in schools. We should advocate for such things, because that's where it starts from. Yeah, but going forward, what do we have next?
Now, obviously, firstly, on that particular story, or the stories that we have covered, Dominic, these stories force uncomfortable questions when children die in families, in institutions, or both, because there are quite a number of sad stories that we've spoken about today. Children dying, women and men hitting each other. It all goes back to violence.
No, families are failing. Families are failing. Our parents have failed us. One, they're busy looking for, there's this concept of everyone should play a part. The man should bring money, the woman should bring, look at you, what time did you come here? What time are you going to knock off? You get married tomorrow, what time are you going to leave home? Will you have time for your children? You won't have that time. So you come for work because you need to do a breakfast show at 6. You need to do the news. You probably go home at 18. You'll be very tired. All right. So, us parents are failing us. You also are failing us, and I think we're going in that same trajectory because we need to have these conversations with our children. We need to have these conversations with our families. We need to have these conversations because we need to talk about, number one, issues of relationships. We need to talk about how to sort out relationships. But then our parents can't. I don't know if your parents have ever sat down with you and talked to you about relationships. Secondly, the issue of sex. Syphilis comes in because, people should really take care of themselves. But these conversations are not had in our homes. So, of course, our families are failing us. And this issue of all of us going for work and not having time for our children is affecting and is a very big chunk of influence on what is going on. Most of these stories would not be here if our families and if our parents had time to talk to us than us being in the new era of no, everyone should go and, because back then our mothers were home to teach us. Now you mothers are here now at 6 hours and going home at 18 hours, very tired. What time do you have for the children? So we have failed.
Definitely. But also, moving on, Dominic, 3 people are feared dead while several others sustained injuries following a road traffic accident along the Great North Road near the Kabangwe area in Lusaka. Now, the accident happened yesterday around 19:30 hours when a public service bus carrying passengers collided with a stationary truck that had reportedly developed a mechanical fault. Right now, we are joined by Namangolwa Mshokabanji to just give us an update or a picture of what exactly did take place. Good morning, Namangolwa.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Now, what exactly caused the crash?
All right. So what happened is that there was a truck that was driving along the Great North Road and it was going in the northern direction. So it had a fault in the middle of the road and it parked in the middle of the road. And then the bus driver, who was also driving in the northern direction, did not notice the parked truck and actually bashed the truck because the truck was stationed in the middle of the road. So the bus that had passengers on board had overturned and then plugged into the drainage. And we were told, after we went on the scene, we're told that they suspect that about 3 people had died because the pedestrians and other residents that were nearby had to start helping the accident victims from the damaged bus. Okay.
Were safety measures taken for the broken down truck?
No measures were taken for the broken down truck because after the truck had broken down, the truck driver was initially supposed to put up measures so that he can alert other motorists that the truck had broken down. But there were no measures that were taken. The truck was just stationed in the middle of the road. So other motorists were not alerted of the truck that was on the road. That's what actually caused the accident. So I believe the truck driver did not take any measures and he did not alert any other motorists of what was going on. That's what actually caused the accident.
Okay. Accidents, Namangola, that have been happening on Great North Road. Why is this stretch of the Great North Road repeatedly deadly?
All right. So this stretch on the Great North Road is becoming very dangerous because of the high volume in traffic. This road has increased in traffic because we've seen trucks heading the northern direction, probably going to the Copperbelt. So we've seen a lot of traffic along this road. And also because it's a 4-way lane, it does not have any safety crossings for the pedestrians. Safety crossings like zebra crossing, because it's a highway. So we usually experience a lot of accidents around this stretch from Zanimuone all the way up to the 6 miles roundabout. So also because the road is also on a downslope, it's actually coming from a hilly point coming down the slope. So we see motorists usually overspeeding when they are passing through this particular stretch of the road.
Measures do you think should be put in place to ensure that traffic reduces on that particular stretch?
I couldn't get your question. Please repeat.
Measures do you think should be taken or put in place to ensure that there is reduced traffic to avoid such instances?
All right. So, according to the residents and the motorists that I interviewed yesterday when I came on the accident scene, most of them are actually appealing that there should be road signs along this stretch of the road. There should be road signs to guide the motorists as they're driving along this road. Also, they also want humps. They are saying there is need for humps, especially as the road is descending down the slope. There should be some humps so that motorists can also slow down. Other than that, they also want RATSA to also constantly engage on this road so that they can keep checking the motorists that are passing here to ensure that motorists comply to the road rules and regulations.
Okay, so Namangola, what is currently happening right now? Has the situation been, put in control?
So right now I'm at the roadside where the accident had taken place from, and it seems that the truck was towed last night. It was removed from the road, as well as the bus that was damaged. It has also been removed from the road, and so currently traffic is flowing normally, and motorists are using this road, and it is very safe right now as I'm talking to you because the damaged vehicles have been removed from the roads.
All right, thank you so much, Namangoloa, for that update.
Thank you so much for having me.
Continue with the Sunrise Breakfast Show. That is just an update of an accident that happened last night around 19:30 hours when a public service bus carrying passengers collided with a stationary truck that had reportedly developed a mechanical fault. We do take a short break right now. We'll be back on the other side.
That's the life we know. From the fields to the table, every bite it shows. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Mama in the kitchen, we never eat alone. Primarily me, the taste of home.
Prime Mill Meal, pure, proudly Zambian, the taste of home.
Of course, now we delve into the newspapers, but of course we're coming to you live on Topstar, Channel 110, and streaming live on our Facebook page, that is PTV2 Zambia, and also streaming on our YouTube page, which is also PTV2 Zambia, and also on our website, which is ptv2zambia.com. Let's look at what's headlining in the newspapers. Of course, maybe we can read one or two and have a discussion about them. And we are with the News Diggers, and the first headline is "Cover all parties. Don't try to impress government, you'll make us unpopular. Mwetwa tells public media." I think this one is going to ZNBC. This one, he was talking to ZNBC. Yes, because...
Absolutely. I think the private media is fair in terms of coverage.
The private media is fair, yes.
Very fair.
Very fair, yeah, because... But you know, there's some media houses that are dubbed not according to political parties. No, that station is UPND, that station is PF. But of course, even in the questioning of the interviews, we can see and we can tell that these people are aligning on one at this side. And you know, one funny thing is that when you are in the ruling party and you are supporting the ruling party, you are called a praise singer.
Yeah.
But if you are supporting the opposition, you are called objective. It's very interesting how we have decided to position ourselves and give ourselves names. But of course, we are told the Mwetwa is asking the public media to cover all medias. But I would also want to say, I think direct the same should also point out to ZNBC. Want to see ZNBC? Can you also cover other media houses? Yeah, but let's go to the next newspaper. Let's go to the mass newspaper. And there's a very interesting headline here on the 60th Republican president, the late Edgar Chagwa Lungu. ECL barrier delay, political trick, says Katele. So there's a lot that is actually going on, and I feel as young people in this country and as citizens and as respective of what we are in different political parties, different beliefs and means, I think when it comes to death, this is where we need to unite.
Yeah.
And we will not allow the late president to be buried in South Africa. That will not allow, that will set a very bad precedence. You know, we cannot continue with this politics, we cannot continue with this anger, we cannot continue with all this. Let us bring and bury our president back in this country.
This is actually a conversation that, trust me, a lot of people have really forgotten about. It got to a point where people were just tired of hearing the same news over and over, the delayed, you know. Now, even as of February 2026, the burial is still being prolonged and remains delayed. You know, this has been more than 8 months now after his death. Obviously on the 5th of June. That's quite a long time, Dominic, if you ask me. We're almost, if we're not careful, even clock a year.
We're not allowed.
Now, obviously, the delay has been caused by you know, a protracted legal and political standoff between his family and this particular Zambian government regarding his final resting place. And we have been seeing updates and updates from the time that, you know, this started happening in the media. And when it comes to Zambian people, I think Zambians, we move on really fast from an issue. We will be here talking about this issue in the next few days. There'll be something that we'll be talking about. So we have really just moved on from this issue. But I feel like when he says it's a political what?
It's a political trick.
It's a political trick. I don't think so.
Do you? I feel that the politics around it there's too much politics around it. Because there's an issue of the family, what the family wants, what he said before he died, and how he was treated. You know, I don't know if there was an anticipation of some treatment that they expected, which did not come. So all those things are the things that are the determining factor of him being buried out in a foreign land.
Yeah.
Because of that, the family believes, allegedly, that it's not honorable enough for him to be honored and sent with the military honors because of how he was treated. But it goes beyond that. He was not just a father to the family. He was a father to the nation. He was a father to even a church at some point. He was his president at some point. So we must understand that it's not as easy as just, he was not just a mere citizen. He was citizen number one. He was staying plot one at that particular time. So regardless of the political fights, regardless of the tribal fights, regardless of the emotional fights, this man needs to be buried here in this country. That's what it takes.
Exactly.
It's not easy to be a leader.
Yeah,
it's not easy.
Absolutely.
It's not easy. So the opposition or the people that are behind this should understand that they're exposing themselves to see what leaders are they when we put them in positions of power. It's not easy to be a leader. It's not easy. You need to go through such things and come back to the country and be buried with honor, you know, and you're not supposed to make a fuss out of it, or even the people around you are not supposed to make a fuss out of it because you made this decision and that's what you decided to do.
Exactly. Of course, just in case you missed it, as of now, the Lungu family did file a formal notice of appeal that is on the 11th of February this year in the South African Supreme Court of Appeal. So this challenges a previous Pretoria High Court ruling that, of course, ordered his remains to be repatriated to Zambia for a state funeral. And Attorney General Mulilo Kabesha has stated the government's priority is to have the former president laid to rest before the August 13th, 2026 general elections.
Okay, that's good. We can now move on to the Daily Nation newspaper, and there's an interesting headline that actually says Zimba Jonas, the lawyer, says ECZ plots to exclude opposition from participating in the August general election with the proposed Electoral Process Act, which prescribes exclusion of opposition presidential candidates, brands the commission as a tool for UPND to exclude all competition in the electoral process. Yes, we're getting into a heated political time, and we've got perceptions and perspectives of different people, and people are looking at things from a different angle. We've got lawyers explaining things differently, because law is a social science, of course. So you, the better you explain it and the better you make them understand, the fall on your side. So we've got different people speaking, of course, saying a lot of things. And this is not just the first. We're going to have a little bit more. And on the same paper, we also have the same Mwitwa asking for free and fair elections now. In the diggers you're talking about, they took the part of the media, and now in the Daily Nation is saying they want a free and fair election. This is what's always said by the ruling party all the time, all the time. And usually when the ruling party wins, they call it rigging. When they
obviously.
Zambia muno. So we also have quite the same headline with Daily Nation, of course, where Mwetwa is speaking. Yeah, we can skip that one because we've discussed about it. Then we go to the Real Times. Man kills daughter with shovel. This is a story that we just had.
Yes,
we just talking
we just
about.
had in our news.
Yeah, and we talked about. And I think to wrap up everything that's in the newspapers, I think this is basically also what we also probably had in our bulletins. Of course, we are the home of breaking news. We had these bulletins yesterday. Yeah, but what's your comment on what's on the newspapers? What's headlining today?
Well, I think basically in one port, we are just reflecting on us going towards the general elections and people's comments. And what I've noticed is that when we are headed towards the general elections, there's a lot of, trying to paint, other people black, pointing out what they haven't done, what they still need to do. I think the opposition also needs to particularly pay attention to what's going on in their parties and maybe what they can do better for the Zambian people. Focusing on painting the other people or the other person black isn't the way to go forward. I think there's need for them to emphasize on their objectives, what they will do for the Zambian people, what difference would they make if the Zambian people decided to vote for them. This politics of shaming others or calling each other names really doesn't work at the end of the day. Zambians want to see results. They want to see people that are, trusted, people that they can count on when it comes to voting for them or delivering as well. So accountability also is definitely very important when it comes to leadership. So we have seen quite a number of that. And also, it's like the GBV cases are really taking the lead when it comes to our headlines, which is really a sad thing that we have been seeing over a few weeks. But yeah, there's need for addressing such issues as well.
Oh yeah. Anyway, I think we have discussed quite a number of these things, and we hope that people are going to look at this objectively, and parents and families will take this seriously. We need you women back in our homes and educating our children on a lot of things, because this starts from home. And we also need for young people to understand that marriage and relationships is not just an event, but it's a process. You need to understand before you get into certain things. You need to be financially ready, you need to be emotionally ready, and you need to be physically ready for quite a number of things also. Yeah. So I want to believe if we are ready for certain things we'll not have to talk about certain things. Different things should be headlining in our newspapers, you know, should be headlining that someone in Zambia has built, maybe has built an engine or something, you know, someone has done this, someone has done that, and not what is trending now. We need to change the narrative, we need to change the perspective, we need to be more productive in our country. Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, we're going to take a short break, but after the break we'll be discussing the issue of floods and the cyclone. Don't leave us. Stay.
Bushe mwalikwata Top Star Decoder. Bushe mwalishiwa kutila kutimwatamba Prime TV2 Zambia pa channel 110 nga chakutila mlefu okumfwa amadiashi ayalekanalekana okufuma kunchende ishapusana. Bakanyekanye mukumipekanisisha amadiashi konse kuntumletu mfuila maliba abaiteanya inshita yonse kumulabasa wenu wa Prime TV2. Prime TV2 omulabasa wenu kumadiashi nembila nsuma mumishi yenu.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Sunrise Breakfast Show. We're coming to you live on Topstar Channel 110 and streaming live on our Facebook page. That is PTV2 Zambia. We're also streaming on our YouTube page. With several areas still flooded due to the persistent heavy rains, some residents in Lusaka have expressed concerns that more properties could be lost following government's announcement of the arrival of the cyclone Gezani in Zambia. Checks conducted by PTV2 news crew reveal that continued rainfall has already caused flooding in some parts of Lusaka. The floods have forced some residents to abandon their homes and disrupted business activities. Let's look at this report.
Following increased rainfall activities across the country, Prime Television News conducted random checks in some parts of Lusaka and found that most residential areas are flooded even before Cyclone Gezani hits its climax, and residents in Kasupe area are worried about their safety.
Munyumba mngala manzi stigona ka straight che so apempa ko chemo ngamanzi che wono batiganzireko jaka manzi choko samba jaka manzi choka toilet jaka manzi so wauze che abatibwezere mukaweza.
Okay, you can try to just to appoint some people to come and check this area out and see what best they can do so that our area can have at least better drainages. These drainages are too poor, so usually the water stays here put all the time. It doesn't move that often. So if you go to most of these areas, you find it's still flooded.
Another check conducted in Chawama has revealed that some residents are having sleepless nights trying to navigate the floods while others are abandoning their homes.
Nyumba yanga ingene aso hapa ngaza tumablog yetu nza gona hapo. Nza gona pati. Penza gona sinziwa hapo sano. Mpo mtingenere huko. Onani matresi ya nana. Nza gona pati. So hapa nepena uka.
Olokwenda kulangizani yako banje berati pochoko samba bajaka manzi amene. Uri munyumba amaye kuti mumanzi amaye munyumba omoka.
Businesses in some areas has also been disrupted following the announcement by the Zambia Meteorological Department that warned citizens to avoid outdoor activities and remain alert for thunderstorms and lightning triggered by Cyclone Gezani from Mozambique. In other updates, the department said it is closely monitoring the progression of the tropical cyclone, which made landfall on Madagascar's east coast on February 10th.
So hapa nepena uka.
Olokwenda kulangizani yako banje berati pochoko samba bajaka manzi amene. Uri munyumba amaye kuti mumanzi amaye munyumba omoka.
Businesses in some areas has also been disrupted following the announcement by the Zambia Meteorological Department that warned citizens to avoid outdoor activities and remain alert for thunderstorms and lightning triggered by Cyclone Gezani from Mozambique. In other updates, the department said it is closely monitoring the progression of the tropical cyclone, which made landfall on Madagascar's east coast on February 10th, 2025, with the wind speeds of 148 kilometers per hour. Joan Musabila, Prime TV News, in Lusaka.
There you have it, viewers. But before we join our reporter, our staffer, to discuss more on the flooding, let's take a short break. John.
What do we stand for? We stand for possibility, for the belief that every tomorrow begins with a choice made today. We stand for growth, for curiosity that pushes boundaries, for knowledge that prepares you not just to adapt, but to lead. We stand for community, For minds that don't just think, but connect. For hands that don't just build, but uplift. We stand for experiences that shape you. For friendships that anchor you. For courage that carries you beyond this place. Here you become more than a student. You become a maker of solutions. Charles Brook University, where you stand for what matters.